right here to start the next string. And if you look, I already have 1, 2, 3, 4 beads there for this part of the ring. So that works out really, really well. Now this stitch, this can be intimidating, but please don't let it be. This is just making circles and triangles until you get what you need. So just don't be intimidated by this. Just look at what you've got and you're fine. Okay, so I stitched around to come out here at this one. So we're going to pick up our regular routine of beads, which is a seed bead crystal, seed bead crystal, seed bead. My thread's coming out to the outside here, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come back through that same bead to make a circle. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads now in the center, so I've got to come over to this crystal here. So I'm going to go through the seed bead, the crystal, and the seed bead. And then the crystal, because I got to have 6 beads in my circle. So again, the same sequence, so seed bead, crystal, seed bead, crystal, seed bead. My thread's coming out towards the center, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come back through that crystal, going back towards the center. And so now, let's count and see what we've got. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is fantastic. We've got our 6 beads here in this circle, but now we've got to add our little extra, finish it out here. So we'll go through the seed bead and the crystal of what we just finished. And we'll pick up a seed bead, a crystal, and a seed bead. And we'll come down through the crystal right next to where I'm coming out of, so that way it'll fill in the next gap. So now I have the bottom, I have my 2 middles, and now we'll get ready to do the top. So I'm not finished with my little circle here yet. If you look, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seed beads in this circle, and I need 6. So from where I'm coming out, I'm going to pick up my seed bead and I'm going to come right up through the crystal right next to where I'm coming out of. So that it pops into place, and now we have 6 seed beads in the center there. And I'm just going to go through the seed bead and the crystal there to my left, so that way I have 1, 2, 3, 4 crystals here in this circle. And remember, we've got to have 6 to make our final circle. And so we'll pick up our sequence: seed bead, crystal, seed bead, crystal, seed bead. My thread's coming out towards the center, so I'm going to take the needle and come towards the center. And then to get into position, to finish my last loop, I'm going to come through the seed bead and the crystal here. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads in this circle, so I got to add 1 more set of beads. So I'm going to do seed bead, crystal, seed bead, crystal, seed bead. My thread is coming out towards the outside here, so I'm going to take the needle, I'm going to come back through it that same way to make a circle. So now when I count my center, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's exactly what I want. As you can see, you've got one bead left on your mat and you've got one bead missing here. So I'm going to stitch around through the beads I just added. So I'm going to go through the seed bead, the crystal, and the seed bead. And then go through that very last crystal there. Now I need to add my little seed bead right here so that it'll finish out my center loop. So I'll pick up a seed bead and go up through that very last crystal. So that makes my center look good. And then I'm going to pick up a seed bead, a crystal, and a seed bead, and I will come down through the bead right next to where I'm exiting. So that now, when you do that, you'll have your circle completed. So now you have your snowflake circle slash ring slash earring slash whatever you want to do with. And what I like to do is we're actually going to start the ring band here on these two sides, this seed bead, or this crystal and this crystal here, these on these sides. But what I like to do before I do that is I like to stitch through my center beads. I try to go back through the beads, all the beads that I added once or twice, so that way I can reinforce it pretty good. Because if you don't, the ring top, if you make it into a ring, the top of this will stretch out a little bit and it's going to make your band bigger. So you'll want to reinforce your circle pretty good and then So I went through and reinforced, and I have exiting towards the other side here, towards the other little piece that I will be adding my other side of the closure to. So I'm exiting here towards that. So I'm going to pick up nine seed beads. So I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to come right to the crystal adjacent to where I'm coming out of. And I'm going to go through that crystal. So what this is going to leave me, when I start to stitch the band, it's going to let me 3 on one side, 3 that I'm going to do the connection with, and then 3 on this side. So I will stitch through to get to the other side, back to where I just started the step from. And this is why you'll want to use like a 4 or a 6 pound thread when you do this project, because if you don't and you use a thicker thread, you're going to have a really hard time getting your clothes or your band put on. So once I get back here to the start, I'm going to stitch through 6 of the seed beads that I added. Now each of my boxes of right angle weave for my band is going to be 12 beads long. The 3 here on the end are 3 beads of the box. So I have 3, so 12 minus 3 is 9, so I need to pick up 9 more beads. I'm going to take those 9 and I'm going to come back through those same 3 beads that I just come out of, those last 3, to make a circle, just a right angle weave circle. So that now I have 2 circles. So I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to go through 6 beads of this new circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, we'll pick up 9 beads. You can pick up 9 beads every time. I'm going to take the needle. I'm going to come back through the 3 beads that I last come out of to make my circle. And then I'm going to go through 6 beads of the new circle. So you will want to continue stitching until you've reached the desired length for the band. Being sure to leave this amount here, just this much room on the other side so that we can connect the band on the other side. While you're stitching your band, it's important to note that you'll want to make the band about a half size smaller than what you would normally need, because your band will stretch just a little bit, and if you didn't go back and reinforce your ring top will stretch too. So once you've got to what you consider your desired length, then we're going to be ready to connect to the other side so that it will make our band. So I added my 9 just like I normally would and went through the 6 beads to get into position. So I'm going to pick up 3 beads. And as you can see, I folded this over my finger so that my band will start directly across from where I started it. So I'm going to take my needle. I'm coming out on this side. So I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to come through the crystal on this side. So that way it will connect that side for the band. And now I'm going to stitch to the other side. So that I can come out of the crystal. I'm going to pick up 3 seed beads. And I'm going to come through the last 3 here on the top. And sometimes this is a little easier said than done because you're getting very tight on your band at that point. So I'll come through those 3 there, so that now my band is connected on each side, so that I have a beautiful ring top and then I have a very simple band. So now before I finish, I'm going to go back through all the beads again that I added around for the whole ring, so that way it'll reinforce it, and then you can tie off your thread and you'll have a beautiful new ring for the holiday season. So like I said, don't let this ring intimidate you. It's really not hard, especially once you kind of get the grip of it and you understand what you're doing. So if you didn't get it the first time, go back and watch the video again and you'll get it. It's no worries, because this is a beautiful project, and you can even add, a little loop at the top if you wanted to make it into a pendant or what have you. But get familiar with the technique, and on the next video I'll show you how to make these into an earring, so if you wanted to make somebody a beautiful pair of earrings. So I hope you enjoyed the project. For more information, be sure and check out our website at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season.